Hi friends, this is Jenny Call, your online chaplain, and we are gathered here today for Sanctuary. We're here in the meditation chapel of the DuPont Chapel at Hollins University, where we meet every Tuesday afternoon at 4:30 for a time of renewal and reflection and rest, and a time that we can be together in community. So I'm trying something new in this Facebook Live, the hopes that this will feel more like a communal event. I miss having others with me here in this space around the table. I miss hearing your insights and your thoughts, and so hopefully this will be a space where we can be a little more interactive, and so I encourage you to comment, let me know you're here, let me know your thoughts as we go along. So today I thought we would talk a little bit about rituals. So rituals, the practices that we do on a regular basis that might be tied into our faith traditions. They may be part of our cultural traditions and norms, or they may be tied into certain celebrations. Here at Hollins recently, we had a panel discussion put on by a local group, Voices of Faith, about birth and death rituals from different faith traditions. And it was so interesting to see how different religions approach these important parts of our life cycle and how they honor that and celebrate that. So we're going to talk more about the daily rituals that keep us grounded right now. Oh, and I see some of you checking in. Hi, April, and hi, Marilyn. I wish y'all were here as usual around the table, but it's good to have you with me virtually. So I look forward to sharing in this together. So when I was thinking about rituals, I was thinking about how I start off my day. So I'll share a little bit with you about that, and hopefully I'll get to hear some of the rituals that ground your day and your practice. So in the morning, when my alarm goes off, and then goes off again, and then I hit snooze, and it goes off again, and maybe after about the fourth snooze, when I finally roll out of bed, and I literally roll out of bed, I go to the kitchen and grab a favorite mug, and I make my tea for the morning. And I think that there's something so comforting about the whole ritual of making tea. There's the smell of it as it steeps, and of course the enjoying it when I finally have it and I get to the table and I'm sitting there for a few moments to start off the day as my kids are getting ready for school. In this case, they are getting ready for online homeschool, so it's been a total readjusting of the rituals. And then I come into work and have a little bit of quiet time, and I have my ever-present journal there to keep me on task and to kind of write out my intentions for the day as I pray and I think about what I want to get accomplished, and then actually see how the day unfolds, because it's not always how it happens. I might light a candle throughout the day to remind me when I need that kind of that calming moment, that I can light a candle and be grounded in that present moment. So I think for me, rituals are a lot about keeping me present here, instead of, as my mind tends to do, spiral off into other thoughts that aren't very helpful or productive, because usually those thoughts are worries about things I can't control. So instead, I surround myself with reminders of things and people I love. So I like to put things around me that remind me of those I love. I have this picture here that I brought to show you of my family. You can see in this picture that Marin's actually biting Brady, which is true to life. So it's a good to remember reality, even in those moments, and be able to embrace that. So I'm glad to see others are joining in, and that you're putting some of the things that are meaningful to you. Hi, Mary, and hi, Ashley. And I'd love to hear more about maybe some of the rituals that are meaningful for you as you start or go throughout your day. What rituals are you kind of looking to right now to get you a time that's very disjointed and uncertain, and scary and anxious at times? What are rituals that bring comfort to you? feel free to put that in the comments and we can share together. I see that candles are important to others as well. What other things do you do or are meaningful to you in this time? And we'll continue to look through comments. I'm glad that y'all are checking in with each other as we're together. When I was thinking about rituals, I was kind of thinking about some of the first thing that kind of came to mind were religious rituals, the things that I miss out on during this time, going to church, praying together as a community. And then, there are the individual things I do, like reading. I see bullet journaling is a ritual and a practice that Mary uses, and classical music. Marilyn's thinking about different ways to be grounded, getting the mail and giving the dog, sorry, I can't click on that, giving the dog dinner. So taking care of pets and daily rituals, those things that we do throughout the day that are needed and helpful. I think for me, getting dressed in the morning is a big deal when I don't necessarily have to do it. I'm still coming into the office at this point, but I know many of us are at home, and so it's easy to just stay in PJs, which there's nothing wrong with, but there's something that I need in that action of getting up, taking a shower, getting dressed. April says eating a yummy breakfast, reading a good book. Faith Unraveled by Rachel Held Evans, that is a good book. Ashley says writing. Mary says checking in with friends. Sharon says family prayer time and comfort meals. And checking in on others. I love all these ways that y'all are finding to be connected both in yourself and connected to those that you care about, whether they're in your household or beyond. I'm thinking a lot too about celebrations right now. I think there's a lot of grief around celebrations that are canceled. My son has a birthday on Friday, and we had planned a trip together, and that, of course, is canceled, but his birthday is not canceled, so we are looking for ways to celebrate it in a new way. He'll be turning 14, so that celebration will probably involve money, because that is his important ritual right now, receiving money from us. But we will look forward to ways that we can still make it special as a family, even though it will be different. I know for seniors, there's a lot of grief around how celebrations may change, and whether or not there will be graduations and ways to celebrate together as a community. And so I think as we think about rituals, how are we able to rework our celebrations and rituals in this time? How can we find ways of being in community and being connected, remaining connected to one another in a time where we're being forced to be isolated from one another? And so I hope that through things like this, through our online connection, through Facebook Live, through ways of finding new community in new ways, we're able to continue rituals. I'm thinking too about rituals around faith practices. And so I wanted to share something with you. One of my new rituals, one of my new practices I have is listening to poetry, which isn't something that has ever been a big pull for me, but there's something about this time where language is important, and thinking of things in new ways and having my eyes open in new ways brings a lot of hope. And I really hope in this time that we're able to see and hear in new ways and to feel the presence of the Spirit working within us and through us in different ways. And so I've really enjoyed, there's a podcast through On Being that is Poetry Unbound. So Padraig Otuma is the host of that, and there was one I wanted to share with you, just a poem from that. It's a poem called Prayer, and so I'm going to play this, and hopefully you'll be able to hear it. It's a recording. I will also read the poem in a minute, but I think you should hear him read it, because he's Irish, and it's always good to hear things in a different voice and a different accent. And so here is the poem Prayer. So I want you to think about, as you listen to this, the ritual of prayer and how it might look and be different in different traditions. Our ideas of prayer may be very different, and what that even means and if we're connected to that at all. I love this experience from a tradition different than mine and how beautiful and moving I think it can be. So let's listen into this.
Prayer by Faso Mohoyati. You cleanse the uncovered regions of your body, then stand at the foot of prayer mats facing the Qibla. Unfasten your cluttered mind from the tangible hold of secular trances. Bow down before the cascading glow of God's mercy. Submit to a centripetal course toward the gates of a more perfect emptiness. Here, now, you can plunge into the most secluded chamber of the soul, commune with your share of the universe's initial burst of light, eternal light, housed within the lamp of mystery, waiting to be beheld 5 times a day.
Hopefully you were able to hear that. I will read it again in my non-Irish accented voice. Prayer by Fazl Mohammadin. You cleanse the uncovered regions of your body, then stand at the foot of prayer mats facing the Qibla. Unfasten your cluttered mind from the tangible hold of secular trances. Bow down before the cascading glow of God's mercy. Submit to a centripetal course towards the gates of a more perfect emptiness. Here now you can plunge into the most secluded chamber of the soul. Commune with your share of the universe's initial burst of light, eternal light, housed within the lamp of mystery, waiting to be beheld 5 times a day. So the name of the podcast is Poetry Unbound. And if you go to the On Being Facebook page, onbeing, onbeing.org, you'll be able to find that along with some of their other podcasts. But Padre Gotuma is the host of that, and this one was, the episode was A Poem for Ritual and Rest. And so this one is about prayer. And so I thought there were some really beautiful lines in there. I'd like to, if you want to comment anything that stood out to you from that, and we'll share that. I wanted to share the line that kind of resonated the most with me was, unfasten your cluttered mind from the tangible hold of secular trances. Unfasten your cluttered mind from the tangible hold of secular trances. And I think that for me is why I create so many rituals in my life, to unfasten my cluttered mind from the secular trances, the things that fill my mind and distract me from what is really important. Because sometimes when I'm kind of in anxiety mind, everything seems overwhelming and overpowering and urgent. But if I take a moment to be still, to be quiet, to settle myself, to do a practice that grounds me in this moment, it reminds me that what I can control is right now. I can only control this one moment, and I can choose to spend that moment finding peace, finding solace and calm. And so I hope that ritual can be that for you. So I'm reading some of the comments here. I like the idea of waiting to be held, as in a time of isolation, we may long to be held, but this is also a time for beholding ourselves and introspection. So I like that, those double meanings of that too, Mary. Thank you for sharing that. I do think that this is such an invitation, this time is such an invitation to look into ourselves and to really to find what it is we need And to also, as we're doing that, consider the needs of those around us, to find that peace within ourselves and then figure out how we can connect with the needs outside of us. So it's really a time for opening our eyes and opening our hearts. But I think the first part of that is that being still and being able to really be held within ourselves and to know that we are held in those moments where all seems to be a little much and out of control. So as you're going throughout the rest of this week, I hope that you will consider some rituals that are meaningful for you and that you will continue to share those here in the comments. I will leave the link for this podcast in the comments below, and the link to the poem as well, so you can read that again. I'm reading what Marilyn wrote. I love the thought that there is a space in the universe for all of us, that we are not responsible for everything, but there is a spot for us where we can connect with something bigger than us. I love that. I love that thought of bowing down before the cascading glow of God's mercy and then submitting. That there are things that are not within our realm, and that is a gift, that we can let that go and trust in something greater. And trust that we are a part of that the holy, that God is working through us and in us, but we're not responsible for fixing everything. That there is a greater being that is in control in this moment, working things out in ways that we can't yet understand, but we will hopefully continue to be able to see that even as we do the work we are able to do where we can. So this week I encourage you to find a ritual that is sustaining for you, that you will share that with someone else. And maybe continue seeking new rituals, new ways of comfort, new ways of grounding in who you are and what you believe and what is meaningful to you. I wanted to close with a psalm that I think is a blessing as well. And it goes back to this idea of being still. So this is Psalm 46. God is our refuge and strength, a very present help in trouble. Therefore we will not fear, though the earth shall change, though the mountains shake in the heart of the sea, though its waters roar and foam, though the mountains tremble with its tumult. There is a river whose streams make glad the city of God, the holy habitation of the Most High. God is in the midst of the city, it shall not be moved. God will help it when the morning dawns. The nations are in an uproar, the kingdoms totter. He utters his voice, the earth melts. Come and behold the works of the Lord. See what desolations he has wrought on earth. He makes wars to cease to the ends of the earth. He breaks the bow and shatters the spear. He burns the shields with fire. Be still and know that I am God. I am exalted among the nations. I am exalted in the earth. The Lord of hosts is with us. The God of Jacob is our refuge. May you find refuge this week. May you find those moments to be still. And when you are still, may you be at peace. May you know that God is with you. And may you know that God is working good things even in this time of great turmoil. I wish you peace, I wish you love, and I send my love to all of you. I miss having you here. I miss being able to connect in person with y'all, but I am grateful for this opportunity to connect in new ways. So take care, my friends, and I'll talk to you again soon.